Welcome to the program. Boston bombers plan Times Square attack with 6 leftover bombs. This is just kind of a, I guess, hey, let's just take a tour down to Boston, down to New York and see what we can do. I'm not sure yet who these bombers are. They are certainly not, as Joe Biden said, Al-Qaeda wannabes. That is one of the most insulting things I've ever heard. Oh, really? So somebody who killed a bunch of people, blew legs and arms off of children, they're just bad guy wannabes. I see. Okay. Everybody's trying to make these guys just into a couple of just mixed up crazy kids that maybe we should have sent the Mystery Machine and Scooby-Doo after, because they would have figured it out. Meanwhile, others that may be connected get away. Peter King said yesterday that he believes that we are going to find others, and others will be arrested. I don't believe that others are going to be arrested. I don't believe that this administration is even looking. I saw an American Thinker an article today that said, "Can a president that promised to protect Muslims protect America?" The answer to that is yes, as long as his first vow is to protect the truth, because not all Muslims are terrorists. So you can protect Muslims, you just can't protect the bad guys. You can protect Christians, but not the bad guys. You can protect atheists, but not the bad guys. This one, he claims to be somebody that is not a racist, can see through different lenses because of all of the things that he has gone through. But this guy only sees issues as collectives. He only sees the Tea Party as white and racist. All of them. White and racist. Danger to the country. He sees business as bad, unless it's in business with him. But if you're not with him, you're just bad. You're evil. I believe he sees all Islamic issues as righteous. I believe he sees, all Islamic terror as, well, they were misunderstood and what brought them to that. And he certainly is completely blind to the Saudi Arabian question. I don't know why. I don't really care why. I just know that there's something wrong here. We've given you the evidence. I was on O'Reilly last night. Fox just will not. Fox won't look into this, won't touch it. They had Brett Baer. He did a little blog thing. I don't know why it wasn't good enough to make the real show, Brett, but they did a little blog thing and said, no, I talked to the Department of Homeland Security, and Janet Napolitano said it's all good. I called Bonnie and Clyde, and they said they were innocent. I called the Nixon White House, and they said there was no robbery. So there's not going on here, because I checked. I called them. I called DHS. I picked up my Rolodex. I looked, let me call, because they're not going to lie to us. The government never lies. It's incredible. We have like 10 sources on this.
It is amazing.
It really is amazing.
All the media sources who just blindly believe what Janet Napolitano has said, when what Janet Napolitano has said has changed almost every day.
And there's no reason that Fox should believe them. There's no reason, because they don't believe this administration, or at least they didn't used to. Of course, they've hired a lot of Soros people, but they never had any reason to give me pause to think they agreed with the administration, or I shouldn't say that, trusted the administration. And journalists shouldn't. Journalists, you shouldn't trust the Bush administration, and you shouldn't trust the almost said it, this guy's administration. Shouldn't trust them. It doesn't mean you go after them all the time. It means that you approach everything with a healthy dose of skepticism. But I called DHS. I was skeptical. I didn't know if they would answer or not.
I love that. It's like they keep saying, "Well, I called the government, and they just said they just totally screwed up and put a random Saudi on the watch list. Oopsie doopsie." And we're supposed to be like, "Oh, they're just racist. They just put all the Saudis on the watch list. That's all right."
And they don't even dig.
There's nothing there. Yeah, they just put random Saudis whenever they interview them on the terror watch list. Okay.
That's just there. That's, as we pointed out before, and I'm surprised nobody on the right even will take this approach. Humiliate them for their racism because they don't want to be called racist. So go for it.
Yeah.
If that's your answer, if you believe what they're saying, then they are racists.
The answer seems to be from them that because they were interviewing a Saudi Arabian, he went immediately onto the terror watch list.
Right.
What?
Not the no-fly list.
Yeah, we're not talking about the no-fly list. These are different. Yeah. And O'Reilly said, he was just on a no-fly list. He told you last night. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He was on the no-fly list, but he was also on the 2123B list, which means he's a pretty bad terrorist.
And it means you have to have you have to have material.
You got to have some evidence.
You have to have material.
Like that.
Yeah. And and O'Reilly has always been good to me. He's always a good guy. O'Reilly was the guy who was there on the Acorn stuff. Presented the evidence, and O'Reilly came and took it and gladly handed it because it wasn't my story in the first place. It's an American story. Breitbart was in part of that story. I mean, there were a lot of people on that, and it was O'Reilly that really helped take that thing down. And that's great. Now, he never, I don't think he was ever with me on the Van Jones thing, was he? But this one, I have all the sources, and I don't know what's going on with Fox. And I will tell you that I was really, well, I won't go into it, but I trust Bill O'Reilly, but I find it incomprehensible, almost incomprehensible. The rest of the media, you can understand why they just don't want to look at it. And what kills me is they're now trying to make this into a conspiracy theory. Could you just define conspiracy for me, Stu? Could you look up the actual definition of conspiracy for me?
Sure. Because
I believe that's just a theory that is, it's shadowy. You can't prove anything or anything. I love these people who are like, well, he has no facts. No. I have the documentation. We have the sources. We have as much as Woodward and Bernstein had. We have the sources. Do you have a second source on that? You have a second? Yeah, I've got 9 other sources on that.
I mean, that's what's so odd about it is they're saying, well, Glenn, the way that it's presented is Glenn came up with an idea that he thinks is true, and we are critical of that idea because we don't believe it. What actually happened is we were provided government documents from sources inside
officials.
The government who said this looks really odd to us, people who work with these documents all the time.
No, they didn't say this looks really odd to us. They said, warning, this is really dangerous. They're covering this up. Something's going on.
Right. I mean,
and they might have their theories. I'm not presenting my theory. I don't think this guy did the bombing. I think he was there. Why he was there, I have no idea.
Well,
but we know
he was there because that's where he got his injuries.
It's right. He was there.
Yeah.
Now, why he was there, I don't know.
And what is instead being spun here now is they're lying. They're saying that you believe he was the actual bomber, which we have never alleged.
Who said that?
We've never said that.
Who said that? They're saying it all over the people picking apart your...
never said that.
Theory is that you believe the Saudi Arabian was the real bomber.
No.
No, you don't.
No.
You think the Tsarnaevs were the real bombers. Those are the two people that are responsible. The police did a good job in finding them.
Do you notice they're looking at, was he wound up when he went over to Russia? Who is paying for all the stuff over in Russia? Who is funding all of the really nasty stuff over in Russia? Saudi Arabia. So while the rest of the country looks, and all of the media looks for, who wound him up? Well, I don't know. Why don't we check the funding for the mosque that they intended? Okay, Saudi Arabian Muslim Brotherhood money. All right, we got that one. Who is doing most of the funding over in Chechnya for things like Al-Qaeda? Saudi Arabia. Who is the guy that was there at the bombing? A Saudi Arabian on the terror watch list. What do you think? Maybe we should look at that connection. And it's not a conspiracy theory.
And you're still not saying that the guy set off the bombs.
No,
we don't believe he was the one who brought the bombs, who left the bombs.
I think he was arrogant. I think he was arrogant. I think he's involved. I don't know how he's involved.
It might have been funding. It might have been command and control. Who knows?
I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. And
everything
that I would say beyond the facts would be theory.
Right.
So I don't have a theory. I just know he's a danger. The government is covering up. They tried to erase. Think of that. They went in first, they tried to change it. Then they tried to erase it. And you can't erase this. Then after we were exposing it, then they went back a third time and they put up a warning. You're no longer, as a government official, you're no longer able to access this unless you go to the top of the ladder of the State Department. Then you can access that information. So you have to alert the State Department. Well, who was it that met with the Saudi minister? Our Secretary of State. Huh. Now, everything past that is a theory. All of that is a fact.
Pretty amazing how much they dismiss, though.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, the week of this bombing with this guy in the hospital currently, then the Saudi foreign minister meets at the White House with officials on an unscheduled meeting, but that was just about Syria. That had nothing to do with anything else in the world, and this kid is from an influential Saudi Arabian family, probably royally connected, but nothing has anything to do with that. I mean...
And they've done it before. They did it with George W. Bush. They flew the Saudi Arabians out after 9/11. The week of 9/11, they took a ghost plane, filled it up with Saudi Arabians, and sent it back to Saudi Arabia. They've done it before. And all of a sudden, it's too crazy to think that this administration would do it again? Of course they're doing it. It has nothing to do with Barack Obama that I know of. It has everything to do with the State Department and the way we have been in bed with Saudi Arabia for a very long time.
I mean, their excuse is, hey, we made a mistake and we just randomly, in some sort of seemingly racial fashion, just took all the Saudi Arabians and put them on no-fly list whenever we talk to them. If that's their excuse, does that seem like an excuse they would willingly provide?
No.
It does not seem like the pattern of government official to say, yeah, first of all, we're incompetent, second of all, we're racist, so don't worry. We're supposed to just believe that? I mean, that is not a pattern of a government official.
They can get away with it because they know they can. We also know because we have sources inside all of the networks. I'm sorry, gang, but we have friends. I know you don't like to think so, and they never tell you that there are friends, but that we have friends inside all of the networks. So we know firsthand that every single network, everyone, has somebody that is wildly respected. Wildly respected. Some of these women, some of these men and women went and put together a whole story on it, maybe even two. And for some reason, it was kicked to the curb. Now, why is that? Who else is beholden to Saudi Arabia? Who else is beholden to this administration? Who else is beholden to both of them? Who else just has a political agenda and just has to have somehow or another, this be America's fault. It doesn't matter the excuse. It's a lie. And that's why, in the end, you'll destroy yourselves. I just hope you don't destroy our country at the same time. It would be really, really great for me to see you burn yourself down. It would be great. I mean, has anybody noticed that I don't come out and trash Fox? Now, why would I do that? I am a guy who is Fox, might even believe that we're building a competition network to them. Did you hear MSNBC come out and say nice things about CNN? They set themselves apart. Now, why would I go on Fox? Well, you've got something to gain. It's Bill O'Reilly. It's okay, sure. But I also give them credibility. I also say good things about them. I want them to be in business.
You have said, thank God for Fox on, I don't know how many occasions.
Let me tell you this. We also, in fact, I wrote Bill O'Reilly last night. I wrote him a note and I said, I will give you all of my sources. I don't have to have credit. You don't have to. Nobody has to know. We've already done it to all of the other networks. We wanted them to break it before us because we knew that people would say it's a conspiracy. We're in it for America. Now, is there a single person out there that is also in it for America? Oh, well, we called the DHS already. The Department of Homeland Security said nothing to worry about. Oh, okay. Whew, you guys should get a nap in. That sounds like a tough day of investigative reporting.